Hello and welcome to One United. My name is Paritosh and I'm here along with Dinete Thomas, Wali Siddiqui and Anshuman Joshi talking about the first game of the season. Premier League is back. Manchester United face Leeds at home and we're here to talk about it. Welcome Wali, Dinete, Anshuman. How are you all feeling? Dinete, long time no see for you on the podcast. How have you
Yeah.
been?
Oh man, I've been heartbroken by the Euros, still recovering. So I was in a hideout. But yeah, it's good to be back. Good for Premier League to start. And yeah, I'm super excited for United this season because
You need to explain why you were heartbroken. Explain
yeah,
yourself.
because I mean, yeah, I was a big England fan. I had so much expectation going on,
He
and
was screaming on the top of his lungs on his Instagram
yeah,
stories.
I
That's why he's
know,
out.
and yeah, I had so much expectation. I mean, I had expectation from the start. Like, I did believe England could win, and they reached so close as any team could get, but they didn't win. So yeah, disappointed with that. But a lot of United boys performed well, and I think they will carry on for that form to the United team, and I think they will challenge for the league against City and Chelsea.
Okay, Anshuman, how have you been? And we'll talk about the game later, but talk us about let's talk about the transfers and how you're feeling about United right
Well, like we discussed last week, that it's good that we have made the signings that we have made, and it's a good step in the right direction. We have talked about the many shortcomings United had last season, and for all intents and purposes, Solskjaer and his team have been doing the right thing, and at least we are going in the right direction. So that has been very uplifting. Do I think we need more signings? Yes, I think we do. I think we still need that holding midfielder. Do I hope that United do that? Yeah, sure, absolutely do. But I think it is very unlikely that anyone else will come in unless we offload some players. So that is my hope going into August, and we do have two new players to be excited about. We are certainly better off than we were 3 months ago. So lots of things to be excited about. But yeah, we are still not there yet. I would still say that having that one holding midfielder would be quite prescient for Solskjaer to play that 4-3-3 that everyone has been talking about and what we have discussed over the course of last season that United need to play.
now? Okay, Wally, how are you and how are you feeling?
All good, all good. Pretty much, it's like Arsenal will be kicking off the season. Like, there's no better way because I have this strong feeling that they're going to drop points, and that's going to be really good to look at. Other than that, talking about Manchester United and Leeds, yeah, it's going to be a really good game. Really excited for the season, like I mentioned, and yeah, two really good prospects, world class players you could call them, Jayden Sancho and Rafael Varane. Yeah, although I'm pretty much excited for United, but the thing that is pretty much annoying me at this moment is that we haven't announced Varane. Yes, be it through XYZ reasons or the rights or whatever it is, the isolation. Well, Manchester United, the club, they know how to suck the life out of us fans in terms of the excitement levels because we knew that Jadon Sancho would eventually come to us. But in spite of that, we were like, yeah, all right. And now we know that Varane is with us, but we're still bloody waiting for that announcement video. So they just know
Yeah.
how to screw things over. But yeah, I'm pretty much excited. And a defensive midfielder is something which I was expecting. I'm still a little bit hypothetical that we might, but I don't think that it's going to happen because it's United after all. And if we are going to get someone, I think it's going to be someone from a Kamavinga or a Ruben Neves. Something I think it's either from the two. And let's just see what happens. I just hope that tomorrow it's going to be a really good game. It's not going to be a walkover by any means because Leeds United will be pumped up. They'll be having fans, and we all know that Leeds fans hate Manchester United with all their guts. So it's going to be good. And if we start off positively, I think that could set the tone for us.
Okay, so let's start today's podcast with the first issue on the hand. It's Manchester United versus Leeds United. The Munli preview. We'll be talking about it, and I'll start off with Anshuman first. Anshuman, tell us about your thoughts on the Manchester United versus Leeds United game.
Well, historically, this has been a big occasion, and we are going to have fans this time around, so that is fantastic. And Leeds, as far as they are concerned, as far as their season's expectations are concerned, they would like to have more of the same because last season, even though the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. They enjoyed themselves. Right now, after 16 years of hiatus from the Premier League, they have come back, and I think they're just glad to be back. And I think you would be if your club as big as Leeds United fell as far as they had and then have come up finally. And I think with teams that usually come up from the championship, the second season syndrome is something that runs quite rampant. We've seen teams that go quite high in their first season and then just fall apart, like that happened with Sheffield United last season. The Leeds fans might be slightly apprehensive about that, but I don't think with Bielsa, with the kind of strides that they have been making, this should be too much of a problem. I think there are enough bad teams in the league for them to not be worrying about relegation. But that can always happen. There's the randomness is why we keep coming back to football. But I don't think that's going to be much of a problem for them. I think there's going to be more of the same that we saw last season. That means that they are going to be exciting, highly entropic encounters, and Manchester United need to be worried about that because last season, even though we beat them 6-2, we still did concede 2 goals, and even towards the end of the match, it felt like Leeds were just coming back, attacking every chance they got, and they wanted to score, and they could have had. They had quite decent chances as well. So that's going to be Leeds. I think they're going to be they're going to enjoy themselves. They're going to enjoy us, and I think they're going to have another one of those average seasons. And if things do really go their way, they might even clinch one of those European spots towards the sixth and seventh positions. As far as we are considered, the biggest problem that we had last time round that we did not begin our season decently. Like we started off with a defeat to Crystal Palace. Our first 10 matches were absolutely atrocious. But the thing that City had over us was not just that they had a decent squad depth, but also because they had longer run in which they did not drop points. They had a longer stretch that actually in the end decided that they went over the line quite easily. Because when you look at their points tally, it wasn't that much. It was just I think 86 points, and 86 points is not exactly too big of a point tally to win the league with. And the last time I think a team in the 80s point tally won the league was Leicester in 2016 with 81 points. So City, by their own standards that they have set over the past 3-4 seasons, did not have that much of a decent season as well. The only problem is that no one else did as well. So they were able to run away with the league and they remain unchallenged. And that is what something United need to take care of this time round. That we are going to have to require a better start from the season. And this is a match at home straight away. And the fans are going to come back. We saw with the preseason match last week against Everton how emphatic we were. There were a lot of plus points to take from that match insofar as that Manchester United just looked intent. They went in, they did the job, and they went out. And that is what we knew of Sir Alex's United. That even though we weren't at our best, we just knew how to get the job done. That is the United that we did see towards the middle parts of last season. And that's what I hope that we see more of. And preferably right from the start, because that is going to be important for us. I know as a rule of thumb, I never look at the league table as at least when we are 8-9 matches in, because I think anything before that is pointless. It just makes a pointless and senseless banter. That, oh, your team that is supposed to end up fourth is now 20th after match week 1. It's just senseless. It doesn't make any sense. But it is hilarious for nonsensical banter. And but Manchester United do need to start right. So tomorrow, that is what they're going to have to worry about. That even though Leeds are a decent team, they're going to throw everything and the kitchen sink from their end. Manchester United need to take this game just as another match, and they're going to have to start by doing that. They are showing the signs that they're going to do that. Now they're going to have to perform in a match that actually matters, and it's a home match, big occasion. Fans are going to come back in a competitive environment. I hope it's a good day all round for us. And even though we do end up conceding, or even if it's a hiccup, I hope that we start from the right foot and we win the match.
Okay, then let's talk to Wali about what he thinks of the Manchester United versus Leeds United game. Also, fun fact: Bielsa was announced by Leeds. Bielsa's extension of contract was announced recently by Leeds United. So that is also interesting that Marcelo Bielsa is trusting Leeds, and Leeds are trusting Marcelo Bielsa to take them forward. Wali, off you go.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And if there's one thing that I would like say something about, say something really positively about Leeds is that they deserve to be in the Premier League for the times to come, because the way that they presented themselves in the previous season was also something which was noteworthy. Because if you talk about West Brom or any other Sheffield United, you rarely see any kind of flair from these teams. They're basically defensively astute and they like to hit on the break. That's basically what their policy is. But if you look at Leeds United, they play with a lot of courage, and Bielsa's philosophy is quite simple: you either win or you either lose. We do not go for the draw. And as a result of that, they've actually impressed last season, and
But
I
I
think they're
think
going to do
later
something.
on, I think later on he realized that you need points to survive, and they
Yeah,
went for draws later on.
which
Early
is
on, they
which
were
is
quite attacking, and because of the United game, I think which they lost 6-2. After that, I think he changed his mind a bit because they went for draws in quite a few games.
Yeah, but if you even if I think, but if you look at it's largely been wins or losses for them. Like if you look at how they approach the game, it's always been like we go all guns blazing. If we lose, we lose. That's fine. And I think it's going to be the same philosophy over here. Yes, he might tweak some things. Like if he wants to make it to Europe, if he wants to do a West Ham United, like what David Moyes did with West Ham, he actually did quite well for them. He might be more pragmatic in some occasions. Like if you get the lead, you might see him like do a Jose Mourinho or something like that. Although I don't think he's that kind of a manager, but he might just have to adapt as per the situation if he wants to go higher. That being said, since this is the first match of the season, since it's the first half of the season, and the players will be quite fresh, I think this wasn't the most ideal time to face Leeds United because they'll be fresh, and we all know how they function on the field. Like it's high intensity, high energy, gegen press, etc. And with fans behind their back, it's going to push them even more. So I think United will have to be really careful. They will get their moments with them attacking us, with them pressing us, like we had the opportunities at Old Trafford. We'll get plenty of opportunities as well. And with the creative mindset that we have, for example, we have Bruno Fernandes, Paul Pogba, and now we'll have Jayden Sancho as well. So there'll be plenty of chances for United. We have to be careful in defense, and this is why I wanted Rafael Varane for this game, because I think the physicality and the pace that Varane offers is something which I don't think we get from Victor Lindelof. So let's just hope that he comes soon to us and he starts a few games. But for tomorrow, I think it's going to be a really good game with fans behind Leeds United's backs. I think we some of us fans are a little positive over here, but I too am positive. I think we can get the win, but I don't think by any means that it's going to be easy. We have to work our ways tomorrow. So it's going to be interesting.
Okay, so it's going to be interesting. Dinette, what about you? What do you think about the Manchester United versus Leeds United game?
I think yeah, a lot of the points Wali and Anshuman said is true. I also think Leeds are apparently from what I'm hearing from their fans is that they are trying to cement their position in the Premier League, not just as to fill in numbers, but as to like stay in the league. And like yeah, like Anshuman said, challenge for Europa League or even Champions League. Because they were that kind of a team before they went down, and even their owners have been investing in them. They're trying to build their stadium to 60,000, as big as Stamford Bridge. So there are projects in place for them to be a big club, be in the top six or top seven or whatever top it is now. As long as we can accommodate Arsenal, wherever Arsenal finish, that would be the top benchmark. So like yeah, Leeds is going to be a tough game. I think they have a lot of players that have that are still there from last season that they performed. I think Bamford would have a thing to prove that when he got snubbed from England. He might be in form coming into the season. They still have a very good midfield, and overall their team just work hard so much and they outrun their opponent. And yeah, like Wali said, I don't think it'll be an easy game, but I do think that with fans back at the stadium, with our team looking more better than it was last season around in the start, I think we have to definitely go and get the win. There should be no excuses because if you look at the points that we dropped last season at home, we could have been even challenging for Man City or even probably even done better than City and won the league. So I think Ole has to get the home form right. He needs to play with the fans, like play with fans being around the stadium. I feel like also a lot of players will be up to it. Like Bruno, I feel like the one of the reasons why he celebrated so much when he scored against Everton is the fact that he scored in front of fans, and that was something that he didn't do. I mean, he couldn't experience last season, and I think he hasn't ever scored with fans at Old Trafford. I
No, he
might be
No,
has.
wrong.
he
He has.
has like
He
for
has.
three or
Yeah,
four games.
He came in January. No, he came in
I
January
know
and
because I
he scored
remember
at
the
Old
For
last.
three
Trafford.
or four games. Not
Okay,
much.
He they the one they won against City, where he chipped
but
Yeah,
he
the
one
transfer
assisted.
fee.
for Martial. But
Yeah.
he has scored. He has scored. He has scored. I know that he scored.
Okay. So yeah, but yeah, maybe, but yeah, I mean, he scored so many after that, and he didn't get to
Yeah, yeah.
celebrate with fans.
Because
So
of
I
the
think,
season that he had for 1.5
He
years.
scored a
The
penalty against Watford, if you remember, in his first game
okay,
at
okay,
Old
but
Trafford.
yeah, no, but he scored so many screamers, and no one was there to celebrate. So yeah,
Yeah,
like, so I think Bruno would be looking forward to playing with fans. And I think one player who would have one heck of a season is going to be Greenwood. I am counting on him to be that one player. I mean, I know he does score like good.
I think this is going to be his coming of age season
Yeah,
because he
I
had
think
a
so
rough
too.
start to the season because of
Uh,
Foden and the things that went ahead
yeah,
with him last year. And one of his friends, I think, died.
yeah, died.
Something
Yeah,
tragic happened. So
yeah,
his start of the season was very awful, and
yeah,
he couldn't really get into it. But I think this season, especially with the break that he had during the Euros,
yeah,
I think I completely agree with Dinete that he's going
yeah,
to have one hell of a season. Jadon Sancho, although many will be backing him, but I think what Jadon Sancho will bring into the team is that others are going to get more freedom, and that's going to
yeah,
help players like Bruno and Greenwood. Yeah, continue,
yeah.
Dinete.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, that was gonna be my second point, and I think even with Sancho's arrival, yeah, I still think he can have a big impact like how Bruno did, or like he can be that very iconic number seven kind of player for us. But I feel like the other players would benefit a lot more from him. Even Martial, I think this has to be his season where he has to do his best to be a Man United player. Because if he can't perform this season with having a right winger, left winger, very creative attacking mid behind him, then I think he is just not quality, at least for United. So I'm expecting a bit more higher standards for Martial this season. And also going back to the defense, with the arrival of Varane, I know that he's not going to play tomorrow, but I do somehow feel like
I
he might.
uh, I have I have read somewhere today that he has signed his contract and then he'll be announced in 24 hours time.
Yeah, but I think he's
Officially,
not
he'll be
registered.
unveiled.
But I don't think he's registered for the match day squad or
No,
something.
yeah, he's not
obviously
registered.
he won't be able to play for the Leeds
Uh-huh.
United game, but he'll be announced
Yeah, yeah,
officially.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
He'll be unveiled.
Well, that's been such a mess from the club. I mean,
Yeah,
Mm.
but yeah, like but arrival of
but they
Varane.
signed him. Not only a mess. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
about the mess. They did their bit. They signed him early on. They announced it early on, but
yeah.
I don't know what complications happened.
Yeah, but yeah, I was saying that so Varane's arrival, I think would have maybe a similar impact to what Alex Telles did with Luke Shaw, and he can. I'm not talking about Maguire here. I'm talking about Lindelof. I think Lindelof had a good Euros. He was also named the Swedish captain. I think he would be looking at Varane's arrival as I need to like do
Of
much
my game,
better
yeah,
than he did.
yeah.
And like how Luke Shaw, because Luke Shaw was not like everyone's favorite player at United. He was hated on by a lot of United fans, thinking that he wasn't
A
good enough.
lot,
Or a
a
lot, yeah.
lot.
Like he doesn't run back, he doesn't track back, he doesn't create much.
You're seeing
So
the guy on the top right corner of this stream. He hated Lok Shaw's guns at one
That's
point.
because he, but that was rightfully
He
so
used to
because he
call
wasn't
it.
performing.
He used
He
to
wasn't
call him
yeah,
performing,
fat man. He used to call
and
him
now
fat
since
man.
he is, and now since
I
he is,
was
I'm calling him
I
Shobarto.
since the day one since day one he was good. It's just that with clubs like
yeah,
United and stuff like that, even if you put in one or two bad performances, you get an agenda behind your back, and everybody is on his case every time. Or
yeah,
and technically he's been, I think, for the past 3 4 years, he has been the best defender we've had, most consistent with the runs that even in his bad games, because we don't have somebody who could play as the crossover Marcus Rashford needed and still
mhm,
have the capacity to sprint back when
yeah,
every defender is across the halfway line. So
mhm,
I think that differentiates him from the rest, and I think that is what something Varane will also bring. That will give
yeah.
freedom to Maguire.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I think he might get the best out of Lindelof as well. So, yeah. So again, going back to this match, I think we have enough to beat Leeds. We have to beat Leeds. Or we should be beating anyone. Maybe
We
bar
should be
City in
be-
the first.
we should
Yeah,
be we should be beating
even beating
everyone
City also. Yeah, since it's the
because
opener, the fans are
now
back. Yeah,
there are no questions.
yeah,
Now there is not going to be
Uh,
an excuse that
first
this is
six or
their
seven
season.
fixtures are actually quite kind on us, and we should make the most of it because if we
yeah.
do start off well, then we are very much in the mix. We have to win
That's
our
true.
games,
Yeah,
most of them.
Although I would prefer us to not be in the mix in the beginning because it's always the team that starts off slow, who are more likely to progress
But
further.
This
we
is
started off
yes.
slow last
I
season.
think I want to talk about this as well. I want to talk
Yeah.
about this
Okay.
as well
Yeah.
because this is. You want to say something? Yeah,
No.
please.
No. 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 Continue. Continue.
I think this is going to be one of the most competitive leagues we've seen in a long while
Mm-hmm.
because Chelsea are looking phenomenal with Tuchel and Lukaku now signed and confirmed. City with Grealish, and we have to talk about Harry Kane as well because that situation is changing a lot by the hour. I have seen that they are currently preparing a $150 million bid. I'm not sure
Pounds.
how much of it holds true by the end of it. But if they do sign Harry Kane, this is going to be so hard for every other team. Although I still believe that Manchester United have the capacity to beat every team. But with Harry Kane, you get 30 to 40 odd goals. And especially with someone like Grealish, Sterling by the side of him, with someone like Riyad Mahrez running show, with someone like Fernandinho, with players like Diaz at the back, with Stones coming very crucially and in clutch last season for City. I think it is going to be very hard for any team uh, up Manchester City, but still United should be fighting for the title anyhow, each and every title in which they compete.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be very competitive. Liverpool have Van Dijk back. I don't believe that he is going to be of the same form that he was when he got injured. It'll still take him time to get back to things. But this is going to be one hell of a season, and I think with every game week, especially I think around Christmas, because the games come in thick and fast. That's going to be the crucial decider. We'll talk about this more, but I'd like to talk about the Varane situation right now that is brewing, and Varane to be announced. This is certainly a big question and a question that every United fan needs an answer to. Varane has been delayed quite a lot, but it is, I think, imminent that he's going to be announced in 24 hours. Let's talk about Varane for a bit, not long because we have already talked about him. Anshuman, how do you think Varane's introduction will change things for United as and when he joins the team?
Well, he certainly is a more compatible fit to Harry Maguire than Victor Lindelof is. And we discussed Rafa Vahan when in back in January when the rumors were started to emerge, and I was the first one to say that that is not a move I'm very convinced by. And that is a weird thing to say for a four-time Champions League winner, a World Cup winner who has everything and the kitchen sink in his CV to boast of. But the thing is with Rafael, and that is my personal opinion on this, that every time I've seen him play, especially over the last two seasons, he hasn't really convinced me. Like I saw him in the World Cup. That wasn't a very great showing. I've seen that one match last I think 2 seasons ago against Manchester City where Gabriel Jesus just tore him apart. I've seen a couple of on different occasions. I'm not talking about YouTube compilations because they can make anyone look good or bad. So that is not starter. But in the limited thing that I have watched Rafael Varane do, I'm not overly convinced by him, and I've always felt that because Real Madrid have a kind of squad where their sum is greater than the individual parts, that he has been part of a very successful team that really hides the fact that at the end of the day, he's not the greatest centre back. And that is the same thing that you can say about players like Isco, Alarcon, and even Nacho Fernandez, as far as Real Madrid are concerned. So my greatest worry with him has always been that maybe he's just one of those players that excelled as a bit part player and part of a otherwise very successful squad, and maybe throwing the whole kitchen sink on him, throwing a lot of money on him, maybe is not the right solution for us. Having said that, I would counter my own argument by saying that I have not seen Rafael Varane play too much, and if 2 3 occasions are the only time that I can nitpick him for, and if then that means that he's a really good defender, because at the end of the day, a defender's job is just to be effective and make sure the goals don't go in. And between 2014 and 2018, I think Rafael Varane was at his absolute peak. Things have taken a bit of a downturn for him personally because he has been slightly injured ridden last season. Also, yeah, he had COVID. So there has been bit of it, but I think I completely am more than happy to say that that is nitpicking on my part. That's not Varane. That's not Varane's problem. That is not him being a bad player. That's me not watching La Liga sufficiently. I can completely agree on that. And the deal that we have signed for him, given his credentials, is not a bad one. Like a 42 million pound deal for a 28 million player on a 5-year contract. That is fantastic. And yeah, like I said, he's definitely a more compatible player to Harry Maguire. And that is what we needed. We needed a centre back that offers more compatibility to Harry. And when you talk about credentials, there is really very few defenders that can boast better credentials than Varane. And so there is that argument. He's not going to have a lot of time to prove himself because he's 28 years of age. He's one of those been there, done that players who's now expected to just show up and do and just perform. And if he has to be a bit part player, then I think he will do good as being a bit part player, because if there is a leadership argument with him that he only played decently alongside Sergio Ramos, then I think Harry Maguire takes care of the leadership equation. He just needs someone that can cover for him the cover for his shortcomings, which Eric Bailly did. But then we all know that injury-wise he's not consistent, and he also has blunders in him. And Rafael Varane does offer something better than Eric Bailly. And by all accounts, from what I've heard from people who follow La Liga a lot more closely than me, they have told me they've said that Rafael Varane is indeed a very quick player. So that is the one thing that we always associate with Maguire, that he's not very fast on the turn. So I think by all accounts, this is a safe, this is Manchester United playing quite safe, and that is saying again a very weird thing when you say someone like Varane. So they have done a pretty decent move here. On paper, this should absolutely work out. Now it's just on Varane when it's announced, when he's included in the team, how he performs, because he is going to have to perform straight away. He's not one of those signings with whom you can say, okay, let's give him 2-3 years, see where this goes. He has to perform immediately. And hopefully, like Dinete pointed out, that this should also be a kick up the ass for players like Eric Bailly and Victor Lindelof, because Excel Tuanzebe is on loan at Aston Villa now. He excelled there when he was in the Championship, and he's going to have first team action now in the Premier League. So he's going to have his chances. Bailly and Lindelof will have to take their chances whenever they come. And now it's just about who plays alongside Harry Maguire. And Lindelof, to his credit, had quite a decent Euros. He's now captain of the Swedish team, so good on him for that. But he has never been compatible with Maguire. That's what we have talked about. And Varane offers that. I hope he immediately delivers. I'm not sure. Again, I'm going to order on the side of my argument what I said, that I'm not completely convinced by him, but I'm also more than happy to admit that this is just my opinion based on very limited live viewing of Varane. And I be the first one to say that I'm wrong when he gets when he performs immediately fantastically. I think we are definitely going to be a lot better at set pieces with his arrival, because he's better, quite good in the air as well. He offers a lot of physicality. So there are that arguments as well. And I'd be more than happy to be proved wrong here. But yeah, that is a signing that on paper did not really excite me that much. But I'm more than happy to admit that he's a much more compatible fit than Lindelof and Bailly.
Okay, Rafa Varane is going to be some player, or to most Manchester United fans. Wali and Dinete, do you have anything to add on? Wali, I'll go for you first.
Yeah, I think like Anshuman said over here, he recently he has made quite a few mistakes. If you look at the Euros and if you look at the big Champions League games and all that, but at the same time, like he's also played a heck load of games, and at the same rate, we've also, if we compare the similar situation with Harry Maguire also played tons of games, has played tons of games for Manchester United in the last 2 seasons. If it wasn't for his injury in the previous season, then he would have continued to play on like the final 6 or 7 games. And the more the number of games a player plays, the more the number of more the number of mistakes he would actually be pointing out. That's actually something which is quite logical over here. But that doesn't take away the fact that Harry Maguire is a good defender, because we did see some mistakes from Harry Maguire, like he was getting turned and he was slow on the half turn, etc., etc. But at the same time, when you see when it comes to the big games, Harry Maguire delivered on in the Euros, and if it was him against Villarreal in the finals at the Europa League, then I think we could have won that game as well. So when we talk about those big occasions, those big games, I think Harry Maguire and Rafael Varane can work together as a really good team, because, like I said, they can be good in bad games. Last season, even though Bruno had a phenomenal season in the previous edition as well as the edition before that, but there've also been times where he's also had poor games, and he's allowed to, because
Especially
he's a
the
human being
Europa
after
League
all.
final. Europa League final.
Exactly.
If,
The Europa League final, or even if you look at the way that he performed in the Euros, it wasn't by his standards. And if you look at pre-season already, he scored that banger of a free kick. So these kind of things are meant to happen. What's good over here is that even though like we are blaming Manchester United for not selling the deadwood, I think we are building a really good squad over here. For example, what I didn't like last season from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was like he didn't bench Harry Maguire or Lindelof when it needed to be. Harry Maguire played nearly every game. I think in the cup games now you can have a centre back pairing of Eric Bailly and Victor Lindelof separately, and you can start like for example Jesse Lingard in case of Bruno Fernandes. If you want to, you can start Van de Beek in place of Pogba. You need your squad rotation over here because that is exactly what Manchester City do, and they've been largely successful over the years. The squad rotation policy is something which is of paramount importance this season. And yes, this point is quite crucial, which Dinete also mentioned. I think if this could also impact Victor Lindelof's performance. He can actually turn out to be he could have the Luke Shaw effect this season whenever he's been given the chance. And yeah, what makes me happy about this deal is that we signed Rafael Varane for like 42, 43 million. That's about it. While Arsenal signed Ben White for 50 million. If it was like 80 million from Rafael Varane or 90 million, then I would have seriously backed away. I wouldn't have wanted him because yeah, he's a good defender. But if you're getting him for 40 million, that's an absolute bargain. So I'm quite pleased that he's with us. 40 million for a classy defender like Rafael Varane. He's definitely going to improve our defense. That I know. And yeah, let's just see how it works out.
okay, Dinit, do you have anything to add on about Baran?
No, not much. I think they both covered it really well. Yeah, like Wali said, I remember tweeting when we were first linked with Varan, he was apparently at 80 million, and I'm like, no way can we be like signing someone for 80 million from La Liga when he's as old as Harry Maguire. But when we got him, Maguire was like 2 years ago. So yeah, I mean, I guess Varane would be a good addition. I like he's very rapid. I think he fits Maguire really well. And yeah, like both Varane and Maguire, they keep playing consistently for week in week out. And I think one of the reasons why Maguire even had a good Euros is because of that tiny break he had because of his injury. Like he came in fresh and he looked like a beast of a player. He's trimmed up. I mean, he's skimmed down a bit. He looks more thinner now, unlike before when he was like very chubby
Yeah,
and like a fridge. Now he looks like a mini lamppost kind of figure. So I think yeah, I'm excited to see Varane and Maguire partner up, and yeah, we get also the flexibility of playing the other centre backs during the League Cups and the Champions League. Hopefully, there are more fixtures which we don't need to worry about. So yeah, I'm excited, and yeah, I think it's a good signing, and hopefully he will be registered soon so that he can start his match against Southampton.
Okay, one of my friends is here, Sir Wagya. He's saying update on Messi PSG. I was to talk about it later on, but why not? Let's talk about Messi and PSG. Messi's bizarre transfer
yeah.
to Paris Saint-Germain. This is one of the most exciting, one of the most bizarre, one of the most random, one of the most
Random.
insane, uh, one of the most insane transfer sagas that I have witnessed as a football fan. I've not seen anything complete so quickly and the things change so rapidly. Even the transfer dawn, Fabrizio Romano was uh, all guns blazing. He was all over the social media when this news broke that FC Barcelona are letting Messi go because he was confirming this for months now that Messi is going to sign, Messi is going to sign. And when they officially announced that Messi is not going to be a Barcelona player, I think he also got very, very shocked because his sources did mess up his stature a bit. Still, it was not his fault. Barcelona themselves said that they were to give him the contract. It was all done and dusted, but the La Liga rules came into between the signing of the contract and him being a Barcelona player. Uh, this is this is insane because now what this does is this pairs up Messi with Neymar and Mbappe at PSG with Angel Di Maria along with some along with the defensive stature of Sergio Ramos. So this is insane team, and I want to talk about this separately. But if we're here, my prediction for this team is, and I'm going to talk about more about it. If this team wins anything less than Champions League in the 2 years that Messi is there, this is going to be a failure on their part. I believe they have to win the Champions League now. They have to. This is an absolute necessity now. If they don't win with this team, they'll never win the Champions League. And I think they will win the Champions League in the 2 years that Messi is there. I'd like to have Wali's thought on this first.
Yeah, it's been a bizarre, like it's really been bizarre. Like it rightfully being said over there on the headline over here, and like Lionel Messi, like you said, Fabrizio Romano earlier, he said that Lionel Messi will be staying at Barcelona. It's pretty much confirmed, and he was about to stay there, but La Liga stepped in. They said that you would have to, the wages of Lionel Messi, even though he was about to take a cut, was still pretty much high, and I think that FC Barcelona were ready to offload him, and I've always said this. I've always mentioned this joke to my colleagues like lately that never ask for a raise too high that your employers end up firing you like for the times to come. Like it should always be it should always be within the limits. But yeah, Lionel Messi and off to Barcelona, man. I don't know why. I'm not a Barcelona fan, but when I saw him crying out there in the middle of a lot of people. I actually also felt a little, sad for him because it was like a match made in heaven. Lionel Messi and Barcelona. It's basically like seeing Paul Scholes play for uh, Real Madrid, or Ryan Giggs playing for Barcelona, or Steven Gerrard playing for some other European country. So this is something which is happening for the very first time because uh, you have a loyal player over there, one of the best, not one of the best player in the world, you have to say, and then he ends up at PSG, and like you said, the pressure is on Pochettino now. And I've always wanted Pochettino at Manchester United, but like Paritosh said over here, if he doesn't win the Champions League, or at least he should make it to the finals. If he makes it to the finals,
No,
all
no,
right,
no,
fine.
no, no. No. They have to win it. They have, they
Okay,
have, they
fine.
have already been in
That's
the
your.
final. They have been in the final with
That's
Neymar and Mbappe. If
all right, fine,
Messi
all right,
and
fine.
Ramos,
So
Messi, look at the free signings that they had. Messi, Ramos, Donnarumma, uh, and one other free agent,
Hakimi,
Wijnaldum.
Wijnaldum.
Hakimi was
Hakimi
paid
also.
for.
They got Hakimi.
Wijnaldum,
Yeah,
I almost forgot about Wijnaldum. They have Wijnaldum
yeah,
as well in the midfield. They have
yeah.
Ashraf
No,
Hakimi. They have to
they
win
have
it.
a.
If they don't win
I
it,
think
they'll never win it.
this
They
is
have
this
to
is the
win
best
now.
team, like individually speaking, like this is the best team that we've seen ever since the Real Madrid
And
The Real Madrid
if
Galacticos.
this gets more bizarre, they are also linked with Cristiano Ronaldo for the next season if Mbappe goes to Real Madrid. Imagine Messi, Neymar,
Yeah,
and Ronaldo at PSG. All their
that would
dreams
be.
coming true, but for the wrong club.
I think it would be a dream come true for all the FIFA boys. For example, Akis is not here. He would definitely play with he would
FIFA
definitely
boys
play with
will
PSG.
FIFA boys would kill. FIFA boys would kill
Yeah,
for PSG to sign Ronaldo.
yeah. It's you could say that like there were people saying out there that it's boring, like to a limit. Yes, it is boring because we already know that they're winning the French league before the start of it. They didn't win it last season. I was quite surprised by it, but this season they're definitely winning it. They'll be winning the cup competition as well. Champions League is different pressure altogether because if you look at last season, Chelsea wasn't the team that we thought would be winning it. We thought that it's going to be Manchester City or Real Madrid or Bayern Munich, but at the end of the day, it was Tuchel. And here, and at times, the pressure is also on the manager when you have really big egos in your team, and that is where because like end of the day, Pochettino was managing like the only superstar that he was managing at Tottenham Hotspur was Harry Kane, and now over here he's like having 5 or 6 world class players who probably would get offended by him if he says something that wouldn't match their rules. You never know. So it's going to be an interesting season. I'm excited to see what PSG does in Europe. I'm not interested in what they do at France because we already know what's going to happen over there. And I hope that we don't get them in the group stages because that would be annihilation, I guess. So, but yeah,
No,
I hope Marcus
we
Rashford
won't get
returns
them.
for
We won't get
PSG.
them. We won't get
Oh
them.
yeah, we're in the same pot. We're in the
Yes,
same
we
pot.
are second. They
Yeah,
won't
yeah,
finish
yeah.
second.
Otherwise, we'll just have to call upon Marcus Rashford. He's been a real nightmare against PSG. You never know. But yeah,
But he
exciting
won't be
times
there
ahead.
till
Let's see what
October.
happens. Uh,
Rashford won't be there till
let's
October.
see.
So yeah.
Knockout stages probably.
Okay.
Let's see.
I'd like to talk to Dinete now. Dinete, I said that Paris should win. now the Champions League. It's not about they could win and they are favorites to win. They should be winning the Champions League with this team, and nothing less than that would suffice. What I thought about it.
I agree. If you look at the other teams in Europe, I think everyone is having a breakthrough. I mean, breakout basically. Real Madrid is kind of going through a downward spiral. Barcelona is in such a mess. I think Bayern Munich, you can make an exception that they could possibly. They still have a good team
Bayern
chemistry, and
Munich would never go down.
yeah,
Bayern Munich would never
exactly.
go down.
They could be. They're the only team that I could see challenging for PSG. Yes, obviously, if City get Kane, I think they
They
would
have
be also looking
monopoly,
at.
yeah, in a country. They have monopoly in a country like Germany, which
Yeah, I
is
agree.
famous for producing world-class talent every year. So,
Hmm.
if a team like that is even not able to afford players from outside, in itself they'll have every top player from Germany, and that itself will keep them alive. So, I
Hmm.
don't think Bayern Munich can ever go down.
Yeah. So yeah, like in terms of Champions League, yeah, I think PSG has to win it. It's not just because of them getting Messi, but also the fact that every other European superpower team has become less powerful. So if there's any season that they should be winning the season, I think even without Messi, they should be aiming for winning the Champions League. But we will see. Because again, like Wali mentioned, Barcelona
Without
has.
Messi, it was like okay, they'll go to the final, they can win it. But with Messi, they should be winning it. There is no conditions now. Anshuman, what are your thoughts about this that statement?
Well, I wholeheartedly agree with you, Paritosh. Like the way that they have brought the squad up, every if they don't win it, it will be absolutely hilarious. And if you are not a PSG fan, then you want them to not win it. So that is absolutely
No,
fantastic.
no, no.
I look at that squad.
Half the Barcelona fan base has already shifted
And now
its
PSG.
loyalties to PSG.
Even some Real
Half
Madrid because
It's
of
it's
Ramos.
very
and the
generous
whole
of you to
Desi,
say it's half of the Barca fan base. That's what I have to say.
Half is from
so
half is
half
from
of the
Real
total,
Madrid.
and the totality of the Desi Barcelona fan base has shifted
The
their
Desi
loyalties
Barcelona. Yeah, yeah. Like basically from our
That
localities.
I can agree with
Yeah.
that.
No, even
so the
Real
Desi
Madrid fans
Barcelona fan.
also. Even Real Madrid fans
Yeah,
are cheering
Because of the
PSG
Because of
because of
Ramos.
because
Ramos and also
because of
Of
Mbappe
course
Ramos,
it
that
is.
they
yeah.
might get, and also a way to
That's a
support
weird
Messi without
matchup,
being in
Ramos
If
Madrid.
and Messi.
now the thing is that if they win the Champions League this time, will Mbappe want to go to Real Madrid? I don't think so. I don't think
I
so.
don't
He'll be.
think so, man.
I don't think so. He'll
La
be.
Liga. I think it's RIP La Liga for me, man. I
Yeah,
don't see them
even for
coming back
me.
anytime soon. Like right now,
And
it's Premier League.
something
Everyone's coming to the
something
Premier League. It's even more.
Premier League is going to run things for 4 or 5 years at least because
Yeah,
too much talent in this particular pool
yeah.
right now.
Even if you look at Super
You
League,
need you need some insane kind of transfer to Real Madrid because they are the team that can pull it off. Or
But not just one.
Ansu Fati or
They need a
Pedri,
good.
someone like
Yeah.
someone like Ansu Fati or Pedri to just break out like Messi did, or some superstar to land, and then the El Clasico gains momentum once again. That's the only way they can recapture the imagination of the masses. Because right now, what is happening with La Liga is they don't have a model like the Premier League. They don't have the culture like the Premier League. Although the fans are quite frantic about the clubs, but there are 3 4 clubs that the fan bases are very loyal and frantic about. That's Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico, Valencia. You can count these on your hand. Whereas for the English game, the tradition is so much deep rooted in the daily life of the English people that they live and breathe football almost throughout the year. So that changes perspective, and plus the economy with the Brexit thing, England have pulled off, I think, one of the greatest feats with the business model that they have marketed, especially the South Asian countries, the way that they have marketed the Premier League for 25 years now, or more than 25 years. They have been absolutely insane with it, and now they're going to reap the rewards for it for the 4 seasons. Especially the way they came back when the COVID hit. Premier League was back, and I think everybody was watching Premier League because it was interesting. Liverpool are going to win it, and what is going to happen. Then the next season also, I think the viewership was maximum for Premier League. La Liga, nobody is watching La Liga because had a downfall, and Messi was not also not willing to play for Barcelona in the starting of the previous season. Now he wanted to play. Now he's not there. What this does is this also uh, forces the question that is financial fair play really a thing? Because PSG with the Nasir being closely linked to the UEFA board, he is able to move these deals in manners that we've not seen before. And the wage bill of PSG right now is, I think, close to $256 million a year. So that is not something that any club can run with for a long, long period of time. How long are they
That's
going to
not a
sustain?
lot actually. 256 million is not a lot. That's like mid-table Premier League clubs. If it is 256, I haven't read the finances, but if it is, it's not that much. 256 million is
250.
not that much. But yeah, the your point is absolutely spot on, and I think a lot of people have talked about this, that financial fair play, for all the right intentions, it hasn't really stopped the Gulf states from becoming in and creating these super sports washing projects, in which the money that is actually coming in is essentially infinite, and it's just about how you can funnel that money in and call it legal for the money to be utilized into buying these players. And if PSG like this can just come in and bring all the money, and we have City in Premier League who are coming in and just infinitely spending money as long as they can, then what does it mean for football? And football is eating itself alive, with all the deals that it has done, with all the capitalization that it has done, and capitalism, and the Super League that eventually was almost breaking out. So yeah, there is an argument there that financial fair play, despite having good intentions, hasn't really able to stop these giants. It wasn't created to stop the Gulf states within seemingly infinite money from coming in.
Yeah, so I think as things stand, PSG uh, should be winning the Champions League,
Champions
and
League.
nothing less than that would suffice for PSG with Messi and Ramos. I'd love to see the games though. This is going to be some insane
Yeah.
entertainment with Messi and Ramos on the same side. Messi breaking bones of
At
any
least with
video.
Messi playing in France, we can actually have Liga legally broadcast in India, because right now there is no broadcaster for Liga. I mean, as much
No,
problems as they already
I
have with
think,
their broadcasting scenario, we don't have
I
that
think
legal one right now. So we will.
Sony was broadcasting League One, huh?
Sony hasn't broadcast Liga for 2 years now. We haven't had a legal broadcaster.
Sony was
They have their own
broadcasting
issues
Syria.
with primary
Yeah.
broadcasting, but in India we haven't had a legal one.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because nobody watches. Who is going to watch these games? You have to
We have had
illegally
for
watch them.
SWC
I
and
think
MLS.
the
So the fact that we don't have a Liga broadcast, and the fact that their League Two, the second division in France, is actually primarily sponsored by BKT Tires, Balakrishna Tires. That is
Wow.
though they are their
wow.
primary sponsors. It's called League the BKT. So the fact that we have that and not a legal broadcast of the top flight is actually quite funny. But I hope it will happen now that Messi has joined PSG.
I think it'll happen now. I hope it goes on Star, but I don't think it'll go on Star. I think it'll go on Sony.
Uh,
Man, but
one
Uh,
final
honestly,
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, go ahead,
yeah,
Wali.
yeah.
Yeah. Just one final thing I wanted to add over here is like I'm really happy for the downfall of Barcelona because they tormented us for quite a while. Like they were unplayable on certain occasions,
Uh,
especially from the 2008 to 2016 to 2015 phase because of the way they played. And the reason why they went down, which I feel is because they went against their ethos. Basically, they went with the Galactico approach, something which Real Madrid adopted, and the reason for this success was over because of La Decima. Plenty of players came from their academies. If you talk about Xavi,
La
Iniesta, Lionel
Masia,
Messi himself, La Masia,
La
exactly.
Masia,
Sorry, yeah, La Masia, Cesc Fabregas. Plenty of quality players came from their academy, and they basically started avoiding that, and they started signing Antoine Griezmann and what's his name, Ousmane
Dembele,
Dembele,
Dembélé.
astronomical wages for them. Exactly. So as a result of that, yeah, they went against their identity, and now they're in the pits.
It's
Yeah,
an
I
administrative
think it's like
catastrophe, is what that is with Barca. I mean, you could talk. This
yeah.
is something that you can have a podcast series out
It's
of.
not
Like,
only
the more
yeah,
you look
yeah.
into their financial situation, the more it makes you think
It's
how
not even
these
about
guys
it's
at the very top of the game have continued,
Mm.
like not looking at this and thinking that this is not going to hit bite them back, and they're just reaping
it's not
the rewards of
it's
their
not
negligence.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not even about the transfer that they had. The amount of money that they were giving Lionel Messi, it's insane how much money he was earning at Barcelona.
All
And
right,
not
all right.
even from
Yeah, Paritosh,
advertisers.
I get that. Okay, fine. Lionel Messi is like the best player in the world, but you're paying Antoine Griezmann 800,000 per week. I mean, all right, he's a good player, but seriously, are you like for real? Frankie De Jong is getting like 500K per week. I'm like, come on. And here we thought that our board was really bad and they're paying our players astronomical wages. But when I actually looked at their wages, like Griezmann and Usman Dembele and Umtiti, I'm like,
It's
what the fuck is
insane.
happening in this
It's
club?
insane the amount of money that they were shelling out
Yeah.
on these players. And I think the Neymar 222 million deal fueled their ambitions. They were like, okay, we had this money and now we'll shell it out there, but it runs
You know
out
what's
faster than it comes in.
you know what's
They are,
funny?
It broke them in more ways.
You know what's funny? Neymar left Barcelona to be out of Messi's shadow, and Messi's followed him back
and
at
now he's
PSG.
now he's
And
He
now
has
it's
again
going to
going
be
to
the
actually he
same.
has
Messi's
actually
shadow.
been quite crucial in bringing Messi to PSG
Ah, yeah,
because
he
he's
Yeah,
was
one
the
of the
first one.
reasons who's going to make him feel comfortable. Messi straight up called for Mauricio Pochettino for the first time. That the moment it was clear that he wasn't continuing Barcelona, he called Mauricio Pochettino. He's like, just bring me up. That is why the transfer happened so quickly. Which is why in 2 days' time he
mm,
went from crying at Barcelona's press conference to smiling at PSG's.
yeah.
Yeah, he
So
was
he
happy
has a
with the
lot of
way things
support there
went.
at Paris.
Yeah. Obviously, he'll have. He's Lionel
Mm.
Messi. You saw the fanfare that there was outside the stadium when he was unveiled. It's insane. Obviously, he's going to. It's like not exactly that because he's going to a very good team. He's going to a fantastic team. He is going to. I think he's going to have the similar impact that Maradona had at Naples. Although it's not
But
quite the same. It's
He can't
completely
have
different.
yeah,
he definitely
Napoli
cannot have
was
that. The
Napoli.
reason for that is
Yeah,
Maradona arrived at a Napoli team that was threatened with relegation.
yeah,
PSG is not
Yeah, yeah,
threatened with relegation.
yeah, yeah.
It's a
I
team that
understand
was
that,
threatened
but
with relegation. It was City
it's
that was
about.
the butt
I'm
of
not
all
talking.
jokes in Italy. So already
No,
it's not
it's.
going to happen in Maradona. He will be fantastic
I
for
think he's
Paris, I have
talking
no
about the
doubt. But
reception that he'll get.
already it cannot
I'm
happen.
not talking about. I'm not talking about the footballing impact. I'm talking
The
about
reception that he'll
the.
have.
It's not even the reception. The status they'll achieve in the world media. The brand that PSG will
Yeah,
become because they're already a big
the
brand.
global profile is one of the reasons they have decided to give Messi a contract so
I'm talking
quickly,
about.
just
I'm
two
talking
days
about
after he
PSG as
was.
a brand. I'm talking about PSG as a
Yeah.
brand, and
The brand
I'm
image of it, because the whole
yeah.
this
So I'm
gives them
not
so much of a global pull
obviously
that they already
obvious
did not have.
obviously they're not going to. He's not going to have the similar impact. That is for everyone to see. This is not the same side that is going to be facing relegation anytime soon. So I'm not saying that he's coming into a dying club and trying to rejuvenate it. He's not that player. But I'm talking about the outlook of the club as a whole. Because
Yep.
now this is going to be a top side for any young player to come to. Because you have the
Mm.
likes of Neymar, Messi, Mbappe, Hakimi, Donnarumma, Sergio Ramos. Now this is going to change the way people look at PSG. That's what I'm saying. Because they
They'll
were
have to win the
taken as a
Champions League for
banter club.
that, though. Otherwise, it will
Yeah,
be absolutely hilarious. I really want them to not win, as far as I'm concerned. Doesn't really matter, but it will be
I
so
don't think they'll
funny
win.
if they don't win. And
I'm saying this right now
there is
on
an
I
record.
think.
interesting angle to that, and
I'm saying
there
this
is an
right now.
actually interesting angle to that.
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay, so the
Yeah,
reason I'm
Anshuman.
saying that is because Mauricio Pochettino, over his time at Espanyol, Southampton, and Spurs, being a
Uh,
Marcelo Bielsa disciple, is knowing for his players to have their socks run off. Like his
yeah.
teams, the one thing that his teams always have, that they
Hmm.
always run, they always press, and they, even if the quality is not there on the day, they're always going to give you a hard time. And now you have front three, which on paper looks fantastic if you are a FIFA player, that you have Neymar,
but they are,
Mbappe, and Messi in the same team. But you have
but
a
they are
front
not.
three that's not going to press back. That's absolutely not
Never,
going to do anything.
never.
If you have one player that's not going to do, then maybe you can account for that player. If you have two players, fine, you can do that. You have your entire front three, and it will be interesting to see how what Pochettino does, because your front three of Neymar usually half of the time he won't play, and even when he plays, I think, but to his credit, in the great matches in the deep end on the Champions League, he does do a lot of coming back and driving the ball upwards.
Yeah,
But pressing is not something he or Mbappe were ever associated with. And that is certainly not what Messi does. I mean, we have those video clips doing around where players just take the ball
yeah. He's
beside
walking.
Messi and he's just walking there, because that's not what Messi have been for quite a while now. So you have a prospect of a front three. Pochettino has gone from being at Spurs, where his players always ran and ran and ran, to have a front three that will be absolutely fantastic on the ball. But off the ball, they're not going to have that great a time because the front three is not going to press. So while you are absolutely expected to win Liga, and right now you are also expected to win the Champions League because of the way you have gone about bringing players, it will be very interesting to see how Pochettino deals with this situation, because you are now just expected to win it. But these three are not exactly Pochettino players. but as it doesn't matter how big a player they are and what their image is and what they have achieved, you are now have a prospect of playing these front three in a system that Pochettino wouldn't want them to play in. So I absolutely want to see how Pochettino goes about doing this and winning the league and then winning the Champions League.
Okay, so I think that's it for Messi and PSG. We have said enough. Enough has been talked about it. Let's shift our focus back to the Premier League. Uh, we're talking about the Manchester United versus Leeds United game, and in context, we'll talk about Jayden Sancho that he is to be featured against Leeds that has come out from Ole. So this is also going to be interesting. I'd like to talk to Wali about Jadon Sancho. Then we'll talk about Pogba and Kane to finish things off. Quickly, how will he feature? Do you think for United, and how do you think this is going to pan out for United with Jadon Sancho?
I'm going to keep it quite crisp. Last season, all our attacks came from the left. It was either from Marcus Rashford or, yeah, basically it was from Marcus Rashford and Bruno Fernandes. Like they were main
Or Luke
creators from
Shaw
the left and
overlapping?
from the middle. And yes, and Luke Shaw overlapping, exactly. And this time, like we've seen that Van Bissaka does have his struggles, but at the same time, he wasn't being complemented by a good enough right winger. Like,
Do you think
let's be
Delo
honest,
will?
that
Do you think Delo will
I,
pose a challenge for the right back position, especially with someone like Jadon Sancho ahead of him?
I hope he does, but Ole doesn't fancy him at all. So I don't think that's going to happen. And plus, Van Bissaka almost played every game last season as well, so he's also one of his favorites. So uh, Van Bissaka with Jadon Sancho, I think he's also going to improve his game. And finally, we are going to get some chances off the right because let's be honest, Mason Greenwood isn't a right winger. Daniel James, for certain games, he's good. For certain games, I don't think United should have him on the right. I think Jadon Sancho is the perfect guy that we now have on the right. He can cross the ball. He can come. He can drift in as well, and that is some. He basically brings in a whole new dimension. And if we have Edison Cavani as a centre forward for large parts of the season, then I think there are plenty of crosses coming from on and are going to be served on his plate, and he's going to finish it off. So I'm pretty excited that Jadon Sancho is with us. We have to be slightly patient with him as well because there'll be a lot of pressure on him. But I think he has all the qualities of being a star at Manchester United. He has all the elements. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for him to be in our team.
Okay, so Jadon Sancho, do you think he'll play as a substitute from the bench, or do you think he's going to start?
I think he's going to start. He should start. He's had a couple of training sessions, so I don't see no reason for him not starting. So if I was Ole, I would definitely start him on the right.
Okay, so according to you, he's going to start. Anshuman, what do you think about Jadon Sancho and his involvement in the Leeds game?
Well, in the Leeds game, I'm going to err on the side of caution and say that he's not going to start. I think the starters will be front three in Martial, Greenwood, and Dan James. And I think he'll make an appearance from the bench. So that's what I think will happen in the Leeds game. Might as well be completely different. We don't know that yet. And as far as I talked about Varane being one of those players that I am not personally quite enthused about, but I'll be more than happy to be wrong about because it's Manchester United. I want them to do well. I want this to be a success. And the judge from instinct when I said that Varane is not the most exciting player for me, but in Jadon Sancho's case, I'll say that this is one of those transfers that you just think will be an absolute success, despite the money that has been spent for him, 73 million pounds and such. And because we have been talking about Jadon Sancho for such a long time now, it's been years. It's been literally years that we have talked about Sancho, and we
Yeah.
talked about how he'll fit into the side, what he brings to the side, and the multifaceted advantages that United are going to have, how comfortable, how feasible it's going to become for the rest of the players around him. So I have no doubt that Sancho is going to be a success. I feel very good about him. I feel very good about everything that he's going to offer us over the next half a decade or so. So yeah, that's Sancho for us, and I hope to see him in action as quickly as we can.
Okay, Dinit, do you have anything to add on about Jadon Sancho,
Yeah.
or do you think any differently than Wali and Anshuman?
I mean, no, it's pretty much similar to what Wali said. I think he's gonna start. I think the way Ole hinted is that he will be featured, but I think he meant that he is gonna start from the get go. Not just because of the fact that he's a good player, we need him, but also after what happened in the Euros and like with all the abuse he got, I think Ole would tell him, look, There are going to be 75,000 people cheering you on. You're going to forget everything the moment you step on at Old Trafford. They've been waiting for you for, like you mentioned, 2 years. You go there, play your thing, you forget about everything that happened before, and start fresh. And I think that's how I think Ole would treat him. And I think he would start from the get go. And hopefully he turns out to be an iconic player for us. So excited to see him.
Okay, so that's about Jayden Sancho, and let's finish off from Paul Pogba and Kane. Then we'll go for the predictions for the United versus Leeds, Manchester United versus Leeds game. Pogba to stay. That is, I think, the consensus from what I've heard and from what Ole has come out and said that the talks have been positive. He has 1 year on the contract and stuff like that. So, what do you think? Is he going to stay, or is going to be a late transfer? What is going to be there for Paul Pogba? I'll talk to Wali first.
If there was a club that was going to sign him, it was PSG. But now they've got Messi, and I don't think that they're going to afford Paul Pogba anymore. So yeah, he's staying, and he, like I said earlier as well, he's being advertised quite heavily. I haven't seen Paul Pogba being marketed by Manchester United in the previous seasons as he is being right now at this moment. Even if you look at the recent third kit launch, by the way, the third kit looks amazing when I'm thinking about buying it,
Blue.
and it
Yeah,
looks,
it's
yeah,
pretty
it
good.
actually looks
Don't
quite amazing.
buy Wali, please. Leave the kids alone till the time
I'll
they
Yeah.
take
get
a
something.
nameless one.
Oh,
I'll
no,
take a
yeah,
nameless
get a
one.
nameless one. Get a
Yeah,
nameless one.
yeah, yeah. Jinx the whole club. No, jinx the whole club.
Oh, okay. Then I'll think about it. I'll take
Get
Eric
a
Bice
Lukaku one. Get
probably.
a Lukaku one. Or a
Get a
Harry Kane
Lukaku
one
one.
of Man City.
Yeah,
Get a
but the
Grealish.
thing is that
If Kane gets transferred, get a Kane from City one.
Yeah, we won't
We'll
judge
burn
nah,
it the
you.
man,
last day.
never,
We'll burn it the
never,
last
never
day of
Manchester
season.
City or Liverpool. By the way, I recently met like two Manchester City fans, and now that's three Manchester City fans that I know in my entire life. So that's good to see. So
That is
yeah,
Ekes
moving
and
ahead.
two other friends.
No. To basically they're
Because it's
family friends of
0.5.
mine. They also had masks of Manchester City. They were wearing that like
No
to
shit,
avoid
dude.
coronavirus and all that. So you could see that.
Wow.
So anyways,
You have corona in
unrelated.
you. You can't avoid it.
Yeah. So
You have
anyway,
a virus in
hashtag
you.
unrelated. But yeah, Paul Pogba. He's like I said, he's being marketed quite heavily over there, and he's gonna have a big role to play this season because finally you could say that he is being sold a project that he wanted long ago. Like under Mourinho, you did get Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Henrik Mkhitaryan, and then Romelu Lukaku, but it all started to fade away once he left, and he started to have second thoughts. Mino Riola has always been a shit back, and he'll continue to be a shit back this season as well. But now that he's got Jayden Sancho on the right, Mason Greenwood there, Marcus Rashford, um, Bruno Fernandes, Rafael Varane, Harry Maguire. You could argue on the goalkeeper, whoever you want, but you have quite a few quality players over there, and you could actually achieve something really great. So I think he's finally being sold on the project, and if we do well, like I've said, like we're second or with a close third to the close third, and we're in the Champions League quarterfinals or something like that, I think he's going to sign the dotted line. But if we've crashed out of the Champions League, we're once again in the Europa Liga, and we are fifth or sixth in the Premier League, I think he's gone for free next season. So yeah, it's going to be pivotal. I think he's staying, and I think we might do well this season. So my hopes are high for him and for the club. So let's just see what happens.
Okay, high hopes for Pogba. Any thoughts about Pogba, Anshuman? Do you think he's
Well,
going to stay?
I'm absolutely definitely sure that Pogba is going to be quite excited about the prospect of playing with all these new arrivals, and it's not like he's been crying to run away. Like it's not like he's saying that just get me out of here. He's being paid quite handsomely, and he's in a quite decent position. Like Wally pointed out, that he was being linked to PSG, but now that they have signed Messi, they also have to deal with their own situation. They have to clear out the deadwood as well. So I think financially speaking, it's in Pogba's best interest, and this is something I'm pretty sure Mino Raiola will be telling him, that if you just run down your contract next year, you will be able to get a bigger contract with better wages if another club doesn't have to pay a transfer fees to you. Because right now Manchester United are putting a 50 million euros price tag on him. So if that does not factor into it, then a 29-year-old pop, but you just wait 1 year. You don't even have to wait 1 year. In 4 months, he'll be allowed to talk to other clubs directly for free. So I think it is in his best interest to just run down his contract. I think PSG also want him to do that. Any other club, I think Juve are also quite interested in getting him back. Any club that wants Pogba back, I think they'll much rather tell his side of the entourage to just run your contract down, so he'll be able to give you a better contract. So that is, I think, what's going to happen. I don't think Paul Pogba is going to make a fight for it. I think if no other club comes for him with a decent enough contract, I think he's going to run his club, run his contract down, and he's going to stick around for the season. My opinion on him remains unchanged, that he should be sold. It's in the interest of Manchester United that he should be let go for whatever money comes, and that money should directly be invested back into the squad, preferably for a holding midfielder. But that's my opinion. But what I think right now, because anything can change towards the end of the season, that's also something we always caveat. But I think for now he's going to stay. He's not going to make a fight for wanting away.
Okay, so I also think that he's going to stay. Did anything to add on about Pogba?
I think what Anshuman, I incline more towards what Anshuman said. I think if no one wants him, he would stay. But if anyone wants him, and I think Real Madrid might be another opposition that would be really looking into him. And if that's the case, and I think his agent would tell him to like run down the contract, I wouldn't be surprised by the time we reach September, October, or something. We hear that, yep, Pogba's signing for Real Madrid at the end of the season. And honestly, I couldn't care less. I mean, even when we were watching the Europa League final, he was dreadful in that. Like when you reach so close, and if he wants to be part of the project, and if you're expecting so much from a high quality player like him, he should be performing. And I still think that he hasn't performed when it matters. Yes, he has had a couple of games in which he had moments, but again, we are now getting players in which we are getting players that are of that caliber, that can deliver in a long, sustainable manner. And because of that reason, I think Pogba, I couldn't care less about Pogba. Even if he doesn't start, I hope Van der Beek comes in. He's been looking buff. He could easily take away Pogba's position. And again, it's not a big shoes to fill, honestly. Like for him to come on and take over Pogba, I still don't think it's like that big of a challenge for anyone. Or we can even sign someone like, I don't know, someone from freaking Watford or West Ham. Those players could also pretty much have the same impact as what Pogba did for the past 5 years. So yeah, I'm kind of indifferent from what I was last season, whether he stays or not. But I think he would stay this transfer window.
This
And
transfer
the
window is going to
disrespect,
stay.
though.
The disrespect of Pogba's name. Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
he hasn't proved us that.
No,
Like,
man.
like
No,
That's
I
not
get
fair. That's not
he's
fair.
been I get that he's been
Come on, man.
inconsistent, but
His
our
goal
club
contributions are.
has been inconsistent
You
as well.
think you think you think Pogba at Juventus was better than Pogba at United, but his goal contributions were almost similar.
It's actually the
Then
same. Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. He
It's
won
a
at Juventus. He didn't win much with. I mean, he won a Europa League, but that's it. Like, and when it mattered, when there was an FA Cup final where he
who
didn't
was there to
perform, there
support
was a
him?
Europa
Who was
League
there to
final. He didn't.
support? He stayed it for a long
Yeah,
time. He
but
gave
if
us.
if you're a world class player, he should be expected to perform. When you
You're
guys
a world
mention
class
him, like
player.
he's like, you guys are putting him as like Mbappe or like Harry
But
Kane
We're
level.
not
Harry
putting him.
Kane.
even listen,
He's
didn't
Paul
even
Pogba. Yeah.
Lionel Messi won the Champions League with Neymar and Suarez and Xavi and Iniesta.
When
He
nobody
also
was
needed
there,
world class
he
players around
was
him.
he was also frustrated.
But also Leo Messi performed when he played against United. He didn't just solemnly relied on let Xavi and David Villa do
No,
his
but
thing. No,
Man,
they were
he also
but
large.
performed.
In fact, there were large
he
parts of Paul Pogba being our best player last
bas
season. Yeah,
yeah.
final he was shit. He was absolutely shite at the final, but he was actually quite important when Bruno Fernandes was injured or something like that. And when Pogba was missing out, we were actually lacked creativity. And Ole
Yeah.
Gunnar Solskjaer started playing him on the
Because
left, if you remember.
Yeah,
As a result
because
of that,
Bruno is being
As a
landmarked.
result of that, Cavani started scoring a lot of goals, which he wasn't
Because
doing
we
Bruno
earlier.
is
when
landmarked in most games, Pogba gets a little bit of freedom, and that's how they both perform. You can't pinpoint on
No,
one player and expect him to do everything.
I
Messi
agree.
is
I
not.
agree that
I'm
I
pinpointing on
agree
him
that
because you guys
the
rate him so highly. If you guys rate
I
him like
don't rate him.
McTominay, I wouldn't care. Like, yeah, let Pogba be a squad player
McTominay is
then.
not McTominay. We don't rate McTominay like Pogba. Pogba is Pogba, and McTominay is McTominay. McTominay's role is not about creating goals and being in attacking positions. You are comparing a world
Okay,
beater
so you're saying
who
Pogba
has won.
has had good
You're
creative.
comparing a world beater who has won the FIFA World Cup, who has won a Europa League, who has been a top midfielder when he has played for his national side.
Yeah, but
one
these
of
are
the
You're
not
most
comparing
United.
him.
underrated
Half
You're
of the
midfielders
things you
ever.
comparing him.
mentioned aren't about
You're
United.
comparing him. You're comparing him to a player who is not even deemed
Watford.
fit who is not even deemed fit to play for United in the longer run. How can you even?
He said that a Watford player would do better than Paul Pogba, man.
No, yeah,
That's
he would
what
have
I
the
heard.
same impact as what Pogba did for us as
No,
the
man.
United
No,
team.
no. I don't think so.
No, listen. Let's
I
accept
don't
the
think.
facts. Like us as a club, we've been inconsistent for the last 8 or 9 years. We haven't done good. If we were actually a functional team, then we wouldn't have had problems with our players.
I
But
mean,
us as a
okay,
whole,
last
even Lukaku played
Yeah,
shit with us,
even
man. And all
Lukaku.
of a sudden, he's being considered as a
We
messiah for
have
Chelsea.
problems.
and by the way, look, yeah,
We have problems in our cabinet. We had deep-rooted
Yeah,
medical issues or something like that, and we have a Pogba had amount of hate this guy
even the reason
gets.
France got knocked out was against Switzerland was because of Pogba. Just FYI, I know he scored
The
a great
reason
goal
that
that
they
game, but he also
but
lost the ball
the
for
it's
two
reason
not
more.
about
why
the game.
France got
It's
knocked
not
out
about
was
the,
because Mbappe couldn't finish his foot.
yeah.
You
And
saw the number
yeah,
of chances he
yeah,
created
but
for him.
also Pogba was the one who contributed to
Yeah,
Switzerland's
but that
both
was
the
just
goals.
one. He like created
Okay,
three chances
one
for
bit.
like to rectify his mistake.
He had he created three in the D, not even
Literally
in
the
the D,
best
in the
player for
penalty
France in the
box.
tournament.
In the penalty box chances. If you're not able to finish them, how is Pogba responsible for that? Yes, Pogba
Yeah,
did
he did
lose
the
the ball
mistake.
for the
Everyone
final
did.
goal. Everybody knows that he missed the last. He misplaced the ball in the last goal.
That's
But
like
he's
that's
not
like saying Bruno
responsible for
Bruno
it.
is responsible for Portugal's
Yeah, no,
demise in the Euro because he was our
Bruno
best player.
didn't play much. Bruno didn't play much, and he didn't
That's
contribute to
yeah,
like
that's because
the
the
games that
manager
they
didn't
lost.
fancy him because
So
he had a really
are you
bad game
saying
in the
that Pogba
beginning.
didn't contribute? Are you saying that Pogba didn't contribute to France?
No, he did,
He
but
was the
he also
best player.
contributed. But he also
He
was
was their best player.
one of the
If they qualified,
yes.
he was their best player. What are you saying, man?
Yeah, but
No,
he's also the
see,
reason. But okay, first of all, we are talking about France. Again, he has
France,
won the World Cup for France. Fair enough, that's good. He's won trophies for Juventus. Again, good. What has he done for United, in which you guys rate him as like an untouchable,
they've
I'm
untransferable
there
not.
have
player?
No, not untouchable. We are not
look.
saying he's
You know what?
untouchable.
Yeah,
It's
then
the
it's fine
amount
that he's
Obviously,
sold.
yeah.
I mean, then what's the problem here? If he
because you're
goes,
comparing him to a Watford player. He is a decent
no, yeah,
player. He's not. He is
no,
a
no, okay,
decent player.
wait, Paritosh. So you're saying, yeah, okay, I'm comparing Watford as an example that if this player gets sold or if he's out of our team, it doesn't matter much. And you yourself just now said that you don't matter. It doesn't matter if he gets sold or not. So that proves my point. Like he hasn't been that.
When have I ever said that?
No,
Wait, are you okay with
it
Pogba
doesn't. It
leaving?
doesn't matter if he goes. It doesn't matter if he
Yeah,
goes. But
exactly.
what? That's different
I
argument. But you
He said
saying
that.
that
I never said
anyone
that.
could fill in, and that's basically this,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
saying that he hasn't done
exactly.
anything for the last, and saying that he hasn't done anything for the last 5 years for United, when statistically he has done actually the same thing which he did for Juventus, and he's being praised at as a world beater over there, and we
Yeah,
exactly do the same thing. Then
yeah. That okay.
okay,
That
then
case, then Dan
then
James
two
has done
years.
so much
Okay,
for Leeds, and
so
then you
two
can
years.
compare his stats with Leeds and be
So
like he's an
within the
upcoming
next two
player.
years, we'll be saying, yeah, Bruno Fernandes, he just has goals and assists. What has he won? Does that make him a bad player?
No,
It
yeah,
doesn't
but he
work
has
that
goals
way.
and assists. He has contribution. He has
Yeah, but
lifted
still,
United
Harry
from
Kane has
being a
goals and
seventh
assists as
to a
well, but
second.
he hasn't won anything. He hasn't won shite.
He
So
bottled. He
Yeah, but
bottled in the
again,
League One Cup
he has
final.
improved.
He
He has
bought
played in.
Harry
He
Kane.
has played a lot
Harry
of
Kane is
good
the
games.
greatest English player you have seen in the
and
recent while, right?
and Harry Kane
Harry Kane.
disappears in
Listen,
big
listen.
games as well. By the way,
The Champions League
he
final,
disappears.
the League One
Yeah,
final,
he cho-
no Premier
yeah,
League, Europa League, the Euros final. How many
yeah,
choking and
He
yeah.
the
hasn't
He
done.
has.
Golden
He
Boot he
has.
won.
I'm not
The
saying.
Golden
Listen,
Boot, the Golden Boot he won at
yeah,
World
I know
Cup
this
was due to
stat pad
a
against
hat trick he
Panama.
scored.
Yeah, against Panama. Yeah, I know. That's the thing. Like I'm not saying that Harry Kane would be like that. I'm putting that in the same bracket as Pogba. So even Pogba hasn't performed when it mattered. So you can't.
You're putting Pogba in the similar bracket as Harry Kane.
No, Harry
Yes,
Kane
he
is still
is.
better. Harry Kane is more
He
important for
just said it.
Spurs.
He just said it. I
Yeah,
caught him on
yeah,
that, man.
yeah. Harry Kane is more important for Spurs than Pogba is for United. It's a fact. If without Harry Kane
You
and
just
Spurs,
said
Spurs
that
is a
you're
dead
putting it
team.
in the box.
That's because our squad is way better than Spurs' squad. That's a
Yeah,
fact.
exactly. So yeah, so if
If
Pogba comes
if
in a
if
whatever
if
Pogba
Harry
has
Kane
done,
was if
Now,
by the way, if Harry
now,
Kane,
if
let's take
that
an
is
example.
now,
If
if
Harry
you
Kane
take
was not a part of,
you take the squad 3 years back, you take the squad 3 years back when
yeah,
Son Eriksson, Lucas
and
Moura.
still Harry Kane was putting in the numbers. He has been consistent. Whether those
Exactly,
guys were
because
there or
he
not.
had that much support, and still he wasn't able to win
How
he's a
anything.
you're
center
Because
saying that?
forward,
Yeah,
and he's a
but you're
center forward. His job
how?
is to score goals. He's a center
he's
forward.
a
His job
center
is
No,
to score
forward.
goals.
he has assisted also a lot. And also, like you just said now,
Because
whether so he scores goals when he doesn't have Eriksen or all these guys, whether he has them or not. That's my point. Like Harry Kane can still perform whether they have people there or not. Whereas for Pogba, you guys make this assumption that he needs a CDM, he needs a left winger who plays like him, who needs a right winger who plays like him,
No,
he
no,
needs
no,
a
no,
center
no.
forward to
What
finish.
I'm
Like
saying,
it's always an
what I'm
excuse
saying
for
is,
Pogba to
what I'm
play
saying
better.
is that
Whereas for others, it's like
I don't get into the argument when people say that he hasn't done anything for the last 5 years, because he has done quite well in even the lesser games. You talk about Newcastle, Swansea, Southampton. There've been plenty of games where he's actually done well, but we do not put that into
that's a
consideration
great
because we want
opposition to
him
put
to
a bar.
because we want him to do well against just Manchester City, Liverpool, Arsenal. That's all. That's all about it. Well, that way Bruno Fernandes hasn't done well against the bigger teams either. Does that make him a bad player?
I'm pretty sure the stats of Bruno Fernandes against top six is either equal to or close to what Pogba has done, and he's been here
But
for
yeah,
like
so it's still
one
equal
and a
to,
half
yeah. That's like 2 goals against Liverpool. Is that good enough? One of them was a deflection.
Still, he still get man of the match performances
The,
against
yeah,
top
but
six.
the thing
Pogba
is,
single-handedly won. Say Pogba single-handedly won us the 3-2 game at
That's
Etihad.
what everyone talks about when the
nah,
argument
I
is
don't
that he
talk about that.
exactly.
He's
That's the
had
same
plenty
thing.
of
Yeah,
That's the
everyone
he's
says
had
that
plenty of other good performances. You remember
which
the
one?
Arsenal game
When
when you remember
the
the
last
Arsenal
year
game when
West Ham
Jesse
game.
Lingard had
West
2 goals?
Yeah, but that
West
was
Ham
mainly
game.
Marshall and Lingard. And I know Pogba scored. He got
West
sent off.
Ham.
Wait, well, he got sent off that game. He got a
He
red
got
card
2
in that
assists
game.
in that game, and he
Yeah,
got
and he got
wrongfully
red
sent
card.
off. He
And he
got
got
2
red
assists,
card also. And De Gea saved us in that
but
game. So again,
but he was still one of our best players
He was
over
the
there.
no,
best player.
Lingard
He was
scored
the
2
best
goals.
player.
He was the best
You
player.
you
And
talk
De
about
Gea
you
made
talk
12
about
saves.
you talk about interim manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Paul Pogba was your best player over there. He got his goal and
Yeah.
assist
He had a
ratio
purple.
in
Yeah,
double
okay,
figures.
yes. He has. I'm not denying that, but he had a purple patch against Bournemouth, against what West Brom, Everton, or
So
these kind of teams.
you're just saying that he didn't do anything for the last 5 years, and now you're okay.
Yeah.
Last year Europa League
So
he
what?
scored
Okay.
against AC Milan, and then he scored
Okay. So
against Roma in the semi-finals. He scored against Roma in the
how
semi-finals
many
as well.
other players scored against Roma in that semi-final, or was it
No, but
only
How
him?
many
you're
did
saying that
Roma?
I'm not
What
talking
the
about
hell?
other players over here.
Yeah, because you're talking like Pogba is the one who's like holding United and taking them, and
Nah,
he
nah,
No,
nah.
plays.
I'm
we're
not
never
saying that.
saying
I
that.
know
We're
he's
not
going to
saying
leave. I
that.
agreed with
Okay,
Anshuman's
okay,
point that he needs to be sold and he will be
okay,
leaving.
yeah.
But just saying that he's been absolute crap is
He's a
something
good
which I don't
I'm
think.
not
player.
saying he's
He's
just been
not.
average. He's been average. I'm not saying crap,
He's
but he's been average. Like
oh man, he's been
and the
decent. He's been decent.
Okay,
my
All
argument
it
is
is
that you guys are
controversial.
rating him higher than he is actually is for United.
all right, let's
He
move
is
on.
he is
This can
crucial.
go on
Yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah.
He is crucial,
I would
but
love to be proved wrong. I
let's
would love Pogba to like get multiple man of the match or like dominate games and be the highlight. Like every game after every big game, I would say like, oh wow, did you see Pogba play? Not like looking at highlights of how he played against France
You
or
know
how he played just to
that
prove.
salt gif is going to be used for you from
I
now
hope, I
on
hope so. I hope
this
so. I
season.
genuinely hope so. I
This
genuinely
season.
hope that so. But yeah, I don't see that. And if he starts playing well, there will be a report saying, "Yep, deal agreed with Real Madrid. Pogba's off," and yeah, that will put more United fans
Yeah,
against
that
him. So
he'll go. He'll eventually go,
yeah,
man.
so then there's no
I don't
point
think
of
he's going to
us
stay.
like rating him and like how much
That
we'll miss him. Like you guys yourself
wow,
said, you guys
man.
won't miss
I
him.
don't think I'm gonna. No, we'll miss him, but that doesn't mean that we won't move on. We'll definitely move on.
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
never said that we
exactly.
won't. We moved on
He
with
gets
Ronaldo. We had Beckham. He left. We moved on.
Yeah, but
We had
those
Roy
guys were
Keane. We moved
legends of
on.
the club. They have contributed miles ahead of what Pogba has
Exactly.
contributed.
So
We can't even put them in
exactly,
the same breath as like
we've
Ronaldo
had
leaving and
such
Pogba
players
leaving.
leave our club, and we've still moved on and won trophies.
Agreed.
So if Paul Pogba leaves, he's a good player. But yeah, we'll move on. We'll miss him, but he'll
Yeah.
move
I'm
on. He'll
just
end up
saying
winning.
that he's a good player who gets too much discredit and too
Yeah,
much hate for
yeah.
no reason. The guy had to post an Instagram post just to clarify that he's actually injured and has to get a surgery. That's the amount of hate that he
It's
gets
just
from
that
the
his
United.
agent is
It's just sad.
an
It's
idiot,
just
man. His
his
agent is a
agent is a
smart.
I do
shitbag,
get
and
those.
it's his agent is a shitbag, and he is an idiot to let him stay on. But it benefits him. He gets him the highest wages, so I think that's fair for him. Let's finish off with predictions and Kane to City because this is going to last a very long time.
I
Anshuman,
think
if you're
Anshuman
there with
slept
us, I don't know if
throughout
Anshuman
the
is there or
debate.
not.
Oh, he's there.
Anshuman was not ready to come in.
This turned out to be an
Kane,
Arnab Ghosh, a Republic news channel debate all of a sudden.
Kane to City. Is this going to be the transfer of this summer window or not? Dinete.
I think it would be. I think that would make sure that it would be like a situation where, like how Messi want to PSG and we expect them to win Champions League. If Kane goes to City, it's kind of like 80% that City will win the Premier League and they should. unless if there's like a big injury or something or some fallout happen, then yeah, can make a case. But no, that would be a guarantee that City are going to challenge for the league and Champions League. And I think if Kane goes to City, they would also challenge PSG for the Champions League. Also, if either of those two teams don't win the uh, Champions League, it's a big L for them. So yeah, I think it might happen though. Also,
Okay, Wali, Kane to City.
If
What do you think?
if Kane moves to Manchester City, I think it's all over for us and the rest of the team. I think you should hand Manchester City with the Premier League title because, yeah, Jack Grealish is a really good player. He's a superstar and all that. But Jack Grealish is a similar sort of player which Pep Guardiola already
Already
has.
had.
For example, Riyad Mahrez was a superstar at Leicester City, and you could say that, even, yeah, with all due respects to Leicester City, but he was the best out of the bad bunch. You could actually use that phrase for Riyad Mahrez. And once he went to City, he saw that other people were also competing with similar stats, similar assists, similar playing styles, and that's exactly what's going to happen with Grealish. And which is why I do not want Harry Kane to join City, because he brings in something different. He's the perfect replacement for Kun Aguero. He'll actually finish a lot of chances, and he'll eventually win the Golden Boot as well. Although if he does go to City, I might be excited for Haaland next season, because I think there might be a possibility of us signing him. You never know.
With Sancho
Although
and
his
Ole Gunnar
agent,
Solskjaer.
but yeah, once again,
Mino
his
Raiola.
agent is Mino Raiola,
Mino
so
Raiola.
that would be interesting to see. But we'll definitely be linked with him next season, that's for sure. But if Kane
Yeah.
goes to City, I think it's all over for the rest of the Premier League teams.
Okay, so there have been some comments, News 40. How will Kane be at City? Well, we're already talking about that. Nitin Menzies, I think he's a friend of yours, didn't it? Where the Paritosh fan club at? Looking like us. Thank you, Nitin. Replace Gary Lineker with Wali. Wali,
Thank you,
there
thank
might
you.
be a job for you.
Thanks a
there,
lot,
Do
bro.
there
it.
might
Make it happen.
there might be a job offer for you at BT Sports soon.
I wish.
Okay.
And he also
Nitin,
asked Dinete to speak in
Nitin
Hindi,
says,
I guess.
he's a
yeah,
Chelsea fan, by the way. Oh,
think Ole can. Oh, Chelsea do have a really good chance. Think Ole
Yeah,
can lead
they
United to glory. I think Ole will lead United to glory in this season. Didn't reply in Hindi. Didn't say something
say
in
something
Hindi.
in Hindi, Dinete.
जिन
what
You
do
have
हिंदी
to
में
say
बात
I
कर
something in Hindi.
what do I
डिनर हिंदी में
say?
बात कर
Nah,
बोलना मेरे से
Pogba
बात
हिंदी
कर
में
हिंदी में
पोग्बा को
अच्छा
गाली
नहीं
दे.
है.
क्या हुआ?
बोल रहा हूँ पॉगबा अच्छा नहीं है
पोग्बा अच्छा है.
I'm joking. Yeah.
Good
Wait, how do
response.
I see? I can only see the private. Oh wait.
बोल मैं पॉगबा को चाट जाऊंगा
That's only for elite members.
डिनर डिनर
Pogba. Yeah.
से मैं पॉगबा को चाट जाऊंगा
मैं Pogba को चाट जाओ. What does that mean? चाट जाओ.
चाट
What?
जाऊंगा
चाट जाऊंगा. What does that
चाट
mean?
जाऊंगा.
They're going to chop him
you
off.
suck Pogba off
What the fuck? Nah. Fuck. What the fuck? I never heard that before.
oh you're gonna clip so hard
Oh my.
you're gonna
I
clip
thought he
so
hated the
hard
guy. I thought
Bro,
he
I
hated the guy.
never. Yo, now I hate Pogba more. Hey, Pogba, get out of United. I'm gonna ring Royola up and tell him, please take him right now.
No.
oh my god I'm
Fuck.
going to get a
Oh,
clip of this
oh my god.
Okay, guys, let's talk about the lineups. I need to have dinner.
Yeah,
okay
even
yeah I
more.
have
the
I
lineups.
do have lunch, but yeah.
oh my god
Okay. Who's starting?
Okay, please don't ban me, says Nitin. Pogba can shoot in some bangles, though he can, Nitin. Dinks
He
reply in
can, but
Hindi,
he
you'll
should
be
do
more
more.
assertive. Dinks reply in Hindi, you'll be more assertive, says Nitin.
Oh, fuck. Is he still
Dinit is
on?
not going to talk in Hindi for a long while now.
Yeah. I'm banned from speaking Hindi.
Okay, so Anshuman is off. I think his contribution was limited to this. He has to go.
Yo,
And
I need to do my FPL also. Quick.
yeah, we have to just get off. I have to do dinner
Deadline's
after this. I
approaching
have to
quick.
have. Okay, Kane to City. If this happens, the Premier League is fucked, basically.
Yeah.
The Champions League is also fucked with City and PSG, the clear runaway to the final.
Yep. That's also true.
Okay. Okay. So I think that's that. We'll have the final segment that is the predictions. And I think that is going to end things for now. I wish Anshuman was with us, but he had to go. Predictions for the game. What is going to be the score line? I'll start with Dennett first.
3-1 Sancho brace. Let's go. Third one,
Three-one
Bruno
Sancho
Nice.
penalty.
praise. Third one,
Bruno penalty.
Bruno penalty.
Hop
Oh.
on to the right
Penalty,
side
of
of the
course,
keeper.
of course.
Wali, what is going to be the score? With
Uh, I,
75,000
I,
United faithfuls at Old Trafford.
it's not at Old Trafford. It's at.
Old
Is it
Trafford,
at Old
Old
Trafford?
Trafford. Old Trafford.
Old
Old
Oh,
Trafford.
it's
Trafford.
at Old Trafford. Okay, then I'm confident.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I thought it was going to be a draw, but since it's at Old
With
Trafford,
the
I'm quite
75,
confident.
with the
Yeah,
75,000
United.
old faithful United
Yeah.
fans screaming their
I
heads off
think
after a season.
it's gonna be 2-1, and Dinet's two most favorite players are gonna score, and that's Anthony Martial and Paul Pogba.
Yeah, I'm giving Marshall still a benefit, like to improve this season. Pogba, I
Yeah.
hope he does, but
Okay. But
we'll see.
jokes apart. I think it's gonna be 2-1, not Paul Pogba, and I think it's gonna be Bruno Fernandes, and who is it gonna be? I think Greenwood. He's gonna get his name on the
Oh
score
yeah,
sheet.
that's more realistic
Okay.
actually. I think
So what's the final score line? 3-1 from Dinit. And Wali
two
says
one.
2-1, 2-1.
2-1. I think it's going to be a high scoring one. 4-2, I think.
Oh, I mean, happened
Because
before. So.
they are both attacking teams, and I don't think in the first game of the season they're going to sit back. Everybody wants to score at least in the first game of the season. They will be going for all-out attack, and the first team that scores will open up more chances. So
Mhm.
I'm going for 4 to United, but let's see. 4 to United with Pogba scoring a banger from midfield.
I hope. Man, then next argument you'll bring that up. Like he played well against Leeds. He
he
scored that
he
goal.
played well against West Ham. He played
Yeah,
3-4 games
West Ham. Yeah,
consecutively where
Yeah, he won us that game against West Ham, AC Milan,
single-handedly he won
Fulham.
us
You
two
remember that
three games.
that
Yeah,
that wonder goal against Fulham? We won 1-0 with the left foot.
yeah,
That
yeah,
that scored.
yeah.
yeah, that one. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
he
one I
had a good
remember.
last season, man. He had a good season
Yeah, he had a
last.
decent, but he's been
He has
like,
been injury pro. He has been injured for a long while,
yeah,
but
he was
I
No,
injured. Yeah,
look, the
yeah,
problem
he
with
was
our team
injured.
is like there will be times when there will be players that will not be performing. But the problem with our team is like on one day there'll be all these star players won't be performing. For example, on that day it wasn't Pogba, it wasn't Rashford, it wasn't
yeah.
Bruno. All of them were shit on the day.
Mhm.
Basically, someone else has to take the reins, and that is something which we need to get used to if you want to
I
win
think
this season.
I think England losing the final with Rashford missing the penalty and with them losing the Europa League final, I think this is going to have a massive impact this season because they're going to be
Yeah.
hungry as shit.
I see. That's
So
the
I
thing. I don't know if they'll be hungry or they'll be more demoralized. It could go either
no,
way.
no. They'll be
If it's
hungry
banned in
because
the stadium, they'll be hungry.
I am sure they'll be hungry because
I
with
hope so.
players.
I won that, but I
I'm
don't know.
100% sure. I'm 100% sure because with the arrival of Varane and Sancho, there'll be a huge lift up around the Carrington and around Old Trafford. So we'll
We're
see
glory
how things stand.
hunters.
Yeah.
What
Four
else do we
to
hunt? Like Rashford said.
4 to
Yeah.
Rashford said yes, and the promotional video. Yeah. So 4-2 from me, 2-1 from Wali, 3-1 from Derek. All for United. Let's see what happens. We'll see you guys again.
Yeah.
Hopefully, just after the Leeds game.
Yeah. One
Hopefully,
of us will do a
that is
review
tomorrow.
or like
Okay,
5 point
Yeah.
review or something.
at least a review if
Yeah,
we
like
don't
a
come winning
5 point review. Yeah.
because it's I think IST 5 p.m. So
Bro,
around the
it's at
similar time it'll end.
7:30 for me, bro. I have to wake up at 6:30 to watch this game.
Yeah, so similar time. No, you're
AM,
recording in the
bro.
morning, right?
Yeah,
You're in the
I
yeah.
hate
you're
the evening time. I hate it when
Yeah.
it's at 5 or 6. It should be at around 9 or 11. That would be nice. But yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
see. I love 5-6.
Yeah.
It's okay. You can watch the full game and still have a good night's sleep. Fucking if it's at 11, you can't sleep for the
And you lose,
for three
and you
four
end
hours.
up losing.
Uh,
Yeah.
Bro, yeah,
yeah.
but if United lose, the whole day is ruined. At least you guys can sleep off and next morning go by
Yeah.
your
For
day.
for
Oh,
the,
you'll
for
have
the
to watch
Like,
in
US
the morning,
citizens,
bro.
yes.
yeah, I
You'll
don't
have to
like
watch in the
stay with
morning
everyone. Yeah.
with fans
But if we win,
hitting
it's
you
good
up.
though. But
Um,
if we win
With
like
fans
nonsense,
hitting you up.
yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, with the Yorkshire because it's a big game. No?
Yeah, that's
The
true.
first game of the season.
Yeah,
Okay,
excited.
we'll see you guys again really soon. Excited for the start of the league and peace.
Yep. Peace.